completed decrypting data from the enemy frigate we captured in the Karak system. It appears to be an Imperial broadcast. In order to stay clear of these outposts, our course will take us into a turbulent asteroid field and through the heart of a nebula.
Hyperspace jump successful.
Attack vector lead in.
We haven't cleared the asteroid field. Prepare for collisions. Incoming asteroids must be destroyed before they impact with the mothership. Concentrate fire within this collision envelope.
Group 5 copies. Group 6 copies.
Research Division reports it is now equipped for ion cannon technology. We advise commencing research immediately.
Hello folks, Ranger 1 here. Welcome to the Virtual Realms YouTube channel. Well, we just received some disturbing news in that decrypted transmission. Apparently, the route that we wish to take toward our homeworld, Pagara, is a very dangerous one indeed. And the Taiidan have littered the intervening area with heavily armed, very ugly outposts that have strong defensive fleets. So we are having to choose a very perilous course to proceed in the path that we want to follow. And in this case, it leads us right through the Diamond Shoals, which is a very nasty asteroid belt. I'm getting at least some of my ships out of the way. My harvester's off to the side. They can collect stuff while I'm busy dealing with this. Now, a lot of my smaller ships I'm going to dock up. I'm not going to have time to get everything off the field that I would like to. I've got to get organized to get my main heavy-duty ships, my assault frigates and ion cannon arrays. I'm going to have to get them focused on these asteroids that are heading directly toward my mothership, because they can and will destroy my mothership. They can also destroy the smaller vessels, but at least the smaller vessels have a chance to get out of the way. I've told my support frigate that it needs to repair anything that it can get to in time, but if you get hit by one of the big boys, well, the ship can get destroyed before there's any chance to help it. So this should be interesting. I'm focusing fire on everything that is coming toward me directly. You'll notice, I'm assuming this is a clue, that when I put my mouse cursor over certain asteroids that are definitely in a direct path with the mothership, that they show up as with a red circle around them, and my ships will freely engage them. Those that are smaller or kind of off to one side or don't pose any threat only get a green circle, and my ships don't want to engage them. So that's a clue built into the game that helps you pick the right targets, because it's a little difficult to get a proper field of view to correctly judge the asteroids that are the biggest threats. And I'm going to take some hits doing this and some losses. I have a feeling it's hard to get through this with all of your support vessels intact. It's hard to get through this if you don't realize what's going on with your mothership intact. So we'll just do our best to get through this. I've got a lot of these frigate class vessels and a lot of firepower, so I should be able to punch my way through with relatively minimal losses. The thing I want to do the most, of course, is protect my mothership, but I also want to protect my ion frigate arrays. I would like to keep as many ion cannon vessels in play as possible without having to spend resources to build any more.
Attack vector laid in.
Now, I had forgotten in all my narrating and talking in the last round, I had forgotten to research attack fighters, which are very strong against other fighters, and that's about it. They're slow, but really good at the one thing that they do. They suck at shooting at frigates or capital ships or even corvettes, but they're really good at hanging around as a defensive screen around a slow, vulnerable vessel, like, say, a resource controller or a harvester or a support frigate. So they will have some value, and I'm going to research that and get some of those built when I have the time to get that research started. Ion cannon frigates are extremely potent against larger targets and would be very helpful in this situation too, but my hands are a little bit full right now. I think I'm probably going to have to get through most of this with the ships that I already have, rather than try and micromanage building during the heat of all of this mayhem that's occurring directly in front of my mothership right now. I've missed a couple here and there. There's a big thicket right now that I'm trying to punch through. It's sometimes very tricky to tell which ones are a serious threat and which ones are not. It's hard to get your camera in the right position, and you often have to either depend on that little red circle to give you a clue, or move the camera around so you get a better view of it from different angles. And I'm going to have to do a little bit of both in this engagement.
Group 5 reports victory.
Moving to intercept. Local resources exhausted, fleet. Moving on. Lock all weapons on target.
My destroyer seems content to hang out at the bottom of the pack. I'd like to move him up a little bit, but again, it takes time to micromanage things like that, and, well, he's laying down some heavy firepower at anything near the bottom of my mothership, so I guess I can just leave him alone for right now. I may try and move him up, but he's so slow. Ooh, and I'm spending too much time looking down. I almost missed this huge asteroid sneaking in from the top, and it's dead in line with my mothership's main bridge, which to me looks like the least armored part of my vessel, but I managed to break it up into smaller sections, which are dangerous too. Okay, got that one. At least these smaller sections aren't quite as tough, so you know, they shattered fairly quickly. That was fortunate. I'm going to move my frigates forward a little bit to buy me some safety, a clear zone in front of my mothership. That should make it a little easier to keep track of what's going on, and buys me a little safety zone in case I miss something or something slips past me.
Group 5 reports victory.
My support frigate down there at the bottom of my mothership is working hard, so apparently, yeah, I've taken some hits and I'm needing to repair some damage. It's not going to repair a whole lot all by itself, but every little bit helps. It seems to have caught up. Didn't take too much damage. I guess that's not too bad.
Attack vector laid in.
Group 5 has defeated the enemy.
Moving to intercept.
This is kind of an odd mission in the Homeworld series, if I remember correctly, because it's kind of like this glorified asteroids game, or, well, I don't know. It's just odd in comparison with the rest of the missions that you run into.
Locked on target.
And it throws a lot of people. I have seen time and again people asking for hints or clues. Ooh, get that one down there too. For hints or clues on how to pass this particular mission. And it comes at you kind of slowly but relentlessly, and it's very easy to panic if you wait too long to engage these pieces of rock, because they don't stop. You have to be paying attention all the time. Thank God they don't move any faster than what they do, or you'd have to play through this mission several times to have any chance of beating it at all. But if you just mass your more powerful vessels in a defensive screen and fire at anything that even looks like it's going to cross into your mothership's path,
Local resources exhausted, Fleet.
you shouldn't have any
Group 6
difficulty with it.
reporting.
Just stay on top of it all the time. Don't take
Group
any
5
unnecessary
reports
chances. Keep your frigate line between the asteroids and your mothership. Always look high and low. Make sure you haven't overlooked anything by tunnel visioning on one group of rocks, because others can slip by. Some of them will come in from odd angles or even below or above and drift up into the path or down into the path of your mothership. You can't just group select and let your ships go after them on their own accord. See, that doesn't give me anything, unfortunately.
Group 5 reporting.
And I've let some slip by me. I'm going to have to fall back real quick and take care of that. Fortunately, my destroyer is not in a bad spot to
Local
assist with
resources
that.
exhausted, Fleet.
And
Moving
they're
on. Moving to
shattering
intercept.
fairly quickly. I think when I first played through this mission, I actually thought that one of the options open to me would perhaps be to build a whole bunch of harvesters, resource collectors, and have them mine the asteroids to death. And as memory serves, I don't think that strategy worked out very well for me. I had to take a more offensive approach, which is unfortunate. I'm sure that
Group 5
there would
has
be a
defeated the
wealth
enemy.
of material
Attack
here
vector
if
laid
you could harvest absolutely everything, but sadly that is not the case.
Attack coordinates locked in.
Group 5
Now,
reports victory.
I do
Attack
have a
coordinates
few
locked in.
smaller vessels still out there here
Group
and
5
there
has
that,
defeated the enemy.
well, when I gave my hasty
vector
dock
laid in.
command, they went to one of the support vessels and docked up with it
all
instead.
weapons
So
on
they're
target.
still out in space. And if I had a spare moment, I would go
Group 5
ahead and
reports victory.
Target confirmed.
send those to the
Local
mothership. But
resources
every time I
exhausted, Fleet.
look away to think about doing that, something slips by me. So,
Local
like that
resources
asteroid right
exhausted,
there.
Fleet. Moving on. Target confirmed.
So they're just going to have to fend for themselves, and hopefully they're agile enough to
Group
get out of the
5
way
defeated the
under
enemy.
their own power.
New heading set. Intercept course punched in.
We're just about to punch through to the other side here. I
Frigate lost.
am going to end up
Group
in the
5
final
reports
analysis
victory. Lock all weapons on
losing
target.
one of my ion array
Group 5
frigates,
has
which is a
defeated the
bit
enemy.
of a tragedy. I did not want to lose one of those, but I can build my own version of an
Locked on
ion
target.
array frigate. They call it an ion cannon frigate when we build them ourselves.
Local resources exhausted.
And
Fleet.
I can
Moving
replenish its loss. But
Group 5 reports victory.
I was a little upset about that. But he got caught between literally a rock and a hard place and got squished. So
Group 5 has
I
defeated
guess
the
we'll
enemy.
have to chalk that up to
Attack
acceptable
vector laid in.
losses.
on. Repairs initiated. Local resources exhausted. Fleet. Moving on.
Group 5 reports victory. Mothership.
Local
Now, some
resources
fragments
exhausted. Fleet.
did get
Moving on.
past me.
Group
You'll
5
see my
reporting.
support frigate is there working hard to repair me again. And I didn't take a huge amount of damage to my mothership in this, but enough to keep that support frigate
Moving
busy
to
for a little while.
destination. On our way. Local resources exhausted. Fleet. Moving on. Lock all weapons on target. Attack vector laid in.
Yeah, I know that last
Group
one
6.
wasn't really near my mothership, but better safe than sorry.
Mothership.
Group 6. Standing by.
Well, it looks like we're pretty much free and clear now. We'll just maneuver past the edge of it and see what happens next.
Group 9 copies.
We've cleared the field. Detecting incoming Bentusi vessel from the clearing ahead.
Ooh, either that's a glitch or the Bentusi can phase through asteroids. No biggie.
Local resources.
Greetings. We have come to trade.
It took me a little while to figure out what I was supposed to do next. And then I realized that if I clicked on the Bentusi ship, it offered me a trade deal, which I will happily accept. Drone frigates.
New research available. New
This
frigates.
is a dangerous and unpredictable region. Can you give us information that will guide us through the nebula?
We hear nothing there. Even the Taiidan fear the great nebula. No one returns.
Well, that's more than a little bit ominous.
Hyperspace module fully charged.
Okay, so it's time to
Mothership.
gather some more resources. Really, the most important thing right now, since I discovered that it does indeed auto-collect all resources when you hyperspace out of an area, which is a nice touch.
Drone frigate complete.
Collection confirmed.
The most important thing right now is to organize my fleet, build any units that I think I may need for whatever's coming up next, and generally get them organized. Definitely going to build a couple of drone frigates. If memory serves, they are very, very good against strike craft, but they're not much good against anything else still.
All going smooth here.
They're tough, and they can survive better than my little defender fighters can. Between the two groups, they ought to give me some pretty good protection. And I think perhaps these drone frigates will be able to keep up with the rest of my frigate fleet a little bit better, perhaps, than my defender fighters can. They really are kind of on the slow side.
Mothership.
I'm also going to build some ion cannon frigates. I think I'll need the firepower. And let's throw in another resource controller as well. So any sane person would realize the Taiidan avoid putting an outpost here because it's too dangerous in the asteroid field. They would be constantly fighting to keep it from being destroyed amidst the huge drifting chunks of rocks here. Had we been a little bit less prepared, we probably would not have survived it ourselves, and we're a much smaller target than a huge outpost would be. But what's up with that nebula? Now, I have played through the game before, so I know that the nebula is a dangerous place. I don't remember really clearly what the threat is there, but I know it's one of the more difficult sections, or at least was for me, one of the more difficult sections of the game to get through. So, yeah, I'm going to try and build up a fairly tough core of ships. I'd like to go with strike craft, but I think this time I'm going to go ahead and stick with primarily frigate class vessels. My strike craft can be built fairly quickly if I need them. I think I'm going to have to be fairly tough to survive. I am going to build quite a few salvage corvettes, though. I have a feeling that I'm going to need them. I don't remember. But I think I come up against some fairly advanced vessels here soon, and I'm definitely going to want to snag them if I can.
Ready.
It's interesting. Our own version of the ion cannon frigate looks a lot tougher than the ones that we captured from the Tyrannic Raiders. They're less all splayed out. They don't have those big wings that look very fragile. This looks like it's pretty heavily armored, so I'm not sure how that translates into the game stats, if it does at all, but at least it makes me feel better when I look at them.
Defender complete.
Confirmed.
I'm fast forwarding through quite a bit of building time here, but where are the defenders?
Defender complete.
Tough, slow little fighters. Again, they're really good at taking on other strike craft, though. But anything corvette size and up, they just aren't that
Defender
good
complete.
at. Still,
Unable to
they
build.
do have their uses.
We cannot support more units.
Okay, we have organized our fleet, built what we can build. I think it's time to initiate hyperspace and bring everyone in. And it is time to chart our course for the big magenta nebula. That's ahead of us and to the left, visually speaking. Well, it should be interesting. I have a feeling that we're going to have difficulty finding the enemy and ascertaining their numbers. If the Bentusi can't hear anything there, then that tells me that there's something that blocks sensor readings, even the very advanced and very sensitive ones that the Bentusi apparently use to track the Unbound's movement through the stars. Well, whatever the case, we're as prepared as we can be. So it's time to head out. Thanks for watching this episode, Diamond Shoals, of the Homeworld Remastered series. And I'll catch you next episode. And as always, until then, good hunting. Thanks for watching. I hope you were entertained. If you liked the video, please remember to subscribe. And if you're already a subscriber, thank you. And I'll see you next time.